The financial strategy of Angelina Jordan, how she is quietly building long-term wealth. Most people think musicians make money from fame, concerts, streams, views, but that is only the surface. Because real wealth in music is not built from popularity, it is built from strategy. And when you look at Angelina Jordan, something becomes very interesting. Her career does not follow the typical money pattern. She is not releasing songs constantly. She is not chasing viral trends. She is not flooding the market with content. And yet, her value is still growing. So the question becomes, how is she building financial strength without playing the fast game? To understand this, you need to think like an investor, not like a fan. In finance, there are two types of growth: fast growth and stable growth. Fast growth looks exciting, quick money, viral success, instant fame. But it often comes with one problem. It doesn't last. Stable growth is different. It is slower, less visible, but much stronger over time. And this is the path Angelina Jordan appears to be following. Let's break it down. The first layer of her financial strategy is brand positioning. In business, your brand determines your value. Not just what you do, but how people perceive you. Most artists position themselves as entertainers. They follow trends. They adapt to what is popular. But Angelina Jordan is positioned differently. She is seen as something more timeless, more artistic, more emotional. And that positioning changes everything. Because in finance, perception creates value. The more unique and rare something feels, the more valuable it becomes. Now, let's move to the second layer. Scarcity. Scarcity is one of the most powerful financial principles. When something is everywhere, it loses value. When something is rare, it becomes more desirable. Angelina Jordan does not over-release music. She appears selectively. She performs with intention. And that creates scarcity, which increases perceived value. Now think about this like a product. If a product is available every day, everywhere, people stop paying attention. But if that same product is limited, people wait for it. They value it more. This is exactly what is happening with her career. Now let's go deeper. The third layer is long-term asset building. In finance, assets are what create real wealth, not income. Income is what you earn now. Assets are what continue to earn for you in the future. In music, the biggest asset is catalog. Songs, recordings, ownership. If an artist builds a strong catalog, that catalog can generate income for years. Streaming, licensing, royalties. And if Angelina Jordan is focusing on quality over quantity, then each piece of music becomes more valuable. Instead of 100 average songs, you have a smaller number of meaningful ones. And meaningful music lasts longer. Now let's connect this to something bigger. Industry backing. When she signed with Republic Records, she gained access to infrastructure, distribution, marketing, global reach. But more importantly, she gained leverage. Because in business, leverage multiplies results. It allows you to do more with less effort. And when combined with a strong brand, that leverage becomes powerful. Now add one more layer. Audience quality. Most artists chase large audiences. But large audiences are not always valuable. Because many people watch once and leave. Angelina Jordan's audience behaves differently. They return. They stay. They connect emotionally. And in finance, loyalty is more valuable than numbers. Because loyal audiences support longer, engage deeper, spend more over time. Now combine everything. Strong brand positioning, scarcity, asset building, industry leverage, loyal audience. This is not random success. This is financial structure. And structure is what creates long-term wealth. So when people ask, how much is Angelina Jordan worth? They're asking the wrong question. Because her real value is not in current numbers. It is in future potential. Because everything she is building is designed to grow over time, not explode quickly, but expand steadily. And in finance, Steady growth often beats fast success because it lasts. And that may be the most important part of her entire strategy. She is not building for today. She is building for the future, quietly, strategically. And most people don't even realize it yet. And when you begin to see all of these layers working together, something important becomes clear. This is not accidental. It is structured. Because in finance, structure is what separates temporary income from long-term wealth. Temporary income depends on activity. You work, you earn. You stop, the income slows. But structured wealth works differently. It continues to grow even when nothing new is happening. And this is where Angelina Jordan begins to stand out. Her career is not built around constant output. It is built around lasting value. Now let's take this even deeper. There is something called compounding. In finance, compounding means growth that builds on itself over time. Not just earning once, but earning repeatedly from the same source. For example, a song released today can still generate income years later. Every stream, every replay, every use adds to the total. And over time, that total becomes significant. This is how music turns into a financial asset. Not just content, but an investment. And if the music has emotional depth like hers, then its lifespan becomes longer. Because emotional music does not expire quickly. It stays relevant. People return to it during different moments in their lives. And each return creates more value. Now imagine multiple songs doing the same thing. That is compounding. That is long-term financial growth. And that is something most artists do not focus on early enough. They focus on quick success. But quick success often fades, while compounding continues. Now let's move to another important concept. Market positioning. In business, where you position yourself determines how you are valued. If you position yourself in a crowded space, you compete on visibility. But if you position yourself in a unique space, you compete on value. Angelina Jordan is not competing in the typical pop space. She is not trying to sound like everyone else. She is not following mainstream formulas. Instead, she is positioned in a niche that values emotion and timeless sound. And niche positioning has a major financial advantage. Less competition, higher perceived value, stronger identity. Because when fewer people can do what you do, your value increases. Now, connect that with something else. Audience behavior. In finance, not all customers are equal. Some buy once. Some return repeatedly. Some are passive. Some are loyal. Angelina Jordan's audience shows signs of loyalty. They do not just watch. They follow. They support. They engage emotionally. And loyal audiences are more valuable over time because they create stability. They reduce risk. They sustain growth. Now, let's introduce another concept. Delayed reward. In today's world, most people want immediate results. Quick success, quick money, quick recognition. But delayed reward often leads to bigger outcomes because it allows time for things to grow properly. And this seems to be part of her strategy. She is not rushing for immediate financial gain. She's allowing her value to develop over time. And that patience can lead to something much larger in the future. Now think about this like an investment. Some investments grow quickly and crash. Others grow slowly and become very strong. The second type is what serious investors look for. And in many ways, her career resembles the second type. Stable, measured, growing. Now let's talk about risk. Every financial strategy has risk. Fast growth has the risk of collapse. Slow growth has the risk of being overlooked. So the balance is important. And so far, Angelina Jordan's path shows a careful balance. She is visible enough to stay relevant, but not overexposed. She is active enough to grow, but not rushed. And that balance protects her long-term value. Now, as everything comes together, one final idea becomes clear. Her financial strategy is not about making the most money today. It is about building something that continues to grow tomorrow, and the day after that, and years from now. Because real wealth is not measured by how much you earn once. It is measured by how long your value continues. And based on everything we have seen, Angelina Jordan is building a system designed to last. Quietly, strategically, and most importantly, sustainably. Because in the end, the strongest financial success is not the one that appears fast. It is the one that remains. And if this path continues, then what we are seeing today may only be the beginning of something much bigger, something that is still growing, still compounding, still building into a level of value that most people cannot yet fully see. And as that long-term picture continues to develop, there is another layer most people completely overlook. Control. In finance, control is one of the most valuable assets anyone can have. Because the more control you have, the more you can protect your value. And the less control you have, the more your value depends on others. In the music industry, this becomes even more critical. Because many artists do not fully control their music. They do not control how it is distributed. They do not control how it is marketed. They do not control how it is monetized. And over time, that lack of control reduces their long-term earnings. But when an artist is careful with their decisions, they can retain more influence over their own work. And that influence translates into financial power. Now, when we look at Angelina Jordan, her slower, more selective approach suggests something important. She is not rushing into decisions. She is not chasing every opportunity. And that often means she is protecting control. Because not every deal is a good deal. Some opportunities bring quick money, but take away long-term ownership. And ownership is where real wealth lies. Now let's talk about ownership directly. In music, ownership determines who earns over time. If you own your masters, you control your recordings. If you don't, someone else continues to earn from your work. And this is one of the biggest financial lessons in the industry. Artists who focus only on short-term success often give up ownership early. But artists who think long-term protect it. And if Angelina Jordan is building carefully, then ownership may be part of her long-term strategy. Now, let's move to another powerful concept: timing. In finance, timing can change everything. Releasing something too early can limit its impact. Releasing something at the right moment can multiply its value. And when an artist is not rushing, they can choose their timing more carefully. Instead of reacting to trends, they can create moments. And moments attract attention more effectively than constant activity. Now, connect this to another idea: perceived rarity. If something is always available, people take it for granted. But if something appears at the right time, in the right way, it feels special. And special things are valued more. Angelina Jordan's selective presence creates that effect. She is not everywhere. So when she appears, people notice. And attention, when concentrated, becomes powerful. Now let's talk about something even deeper: emotional equity. In finance, equity usually refers to ownership. But in this case, think of it differently. Emotional equity is the connection people feel toward an artist. It is built over time, through consistency, through authenticity, through meaningful experiences. And the stronger that emotional equity, the more valuable the artist becomes. Because people are not just consuming the music. They are connected to it. They support it. They believe in it. And that kind of support is not temporary. It lasts. Now imagine combining emotional equity with financial structure. You get something very powerful. A career that is not just profitable, but sustainable. Now, let's take another step forward: global reach. With platforms like streaming services and YouTube, an artist is no longer limited to one country. They can reach listeners all over the world. And global reach increases earning potential. Because income is no longer coming from one market. It is coming from many. And Angelina Jordan already has an international audience, which means her financial growth is not limited. It can expand across regions, across cultures, across time. Now combine global reach with loyal audience behavior. That creates something very stable. Because even if one market slows down, another continues, and that reduces financial risk. Now, let's bring everything together again. Control, ownership, timing, scarcity, emotional equity, global reach. These are not random elements. They are financial pillars. And when they're aligned, they create a system that supports long-term success. Not just visibility, not just popularity, but real, lasting value. And this is why her path looks different. Because it is not built for quick results. It is built for durability. Now, here is the most important part of all. Most people will not notice this while it's happening. Because it is quiet. There are no loud announcements, no sudden speeches, no dramatic changes. But underneath that quiet surface, something is building. Slowly, steadily, powerfully. And one day, the result of that growth will become visible. Not as a sudden explosion, but as something solid, something undeniable, something that has been forming over time. And when that moment arrives, people may look back and realize something. That everything they thought was slow was actually strategic. Everything they thought was quiet was actually intentional. And everything they thought was small was actually building into something much bigger. Because in finance, the strongest growth is often the one you don't see immediately. But when it reveals itself, it changes everything. And as all of these elements continue to align, one final layer begins to reveal itself. Not just how value is built, but how value is protected. Because building wealth is one part of the process. But protecting that wealth is what ensures it lasts. In many industries, people focus heavily on growth. They chase expansion. They chase visibility. They chase numbers. But they forget something critical. Without protection, growth can collapse. And in the music industry, this happens more often than people realize. Artists rise quickly, gain attention, earn money, and then slowly lose it. Not because they lack talent, but because they lack structure. Now, when we look again at Angelina Jordan, her approach suggests something different. She's not only building carefully, she's also moving in a way that reduces unnecessary risk. And risk management is a key part of finance. Because every decision has consequences. Signing the wrong deal, releasing too much content, overexposing your brand. All of these can reduce long-term value. But moving with patience allows better decisions. Better decisions lead to better outcomes. Now let's take a deeper look at career longevity. In finance, long-term success depends on sustainability. Not just how fast something grows, but how long it continues. And sustainability in music depends on three main factors: relevance, connection, adaptability. Relevance means people still care. Connection means people still feel something. Adaptability means the artist can evolve without losing identity. So far, Angelina Jordan shows strong signs in all three areas. Her style is not tied to short-term trends, which means it does not expire quickly. Her emotional delivery creates deep connection, which keeps her audience engaged. And her gradual growth allows space for evolution, which supports long-term adaptability. Now, when these three elements are present, something powerful happens. The artist becomes timeless, and timeless artists hold value across generations, which leads to something very important financially: multi-generational income potential. This means the music does not just earn today. It continues to earn years later, across different audiences, across different time periods. And that is where real long-term wealth is created. Now, let's move into another layer: reputation capital. In finance, reputation has value because it influences opportunities. A strong reputation attracts better deals, better collaborations, better platforms, and a weak reputation limits them. Angelina Jordan's reputation is built around authenticity and depth, not controversy, not overexposure. And that type of reputation is stable. It creates trust, and trust leads to long-term opportunity. Now let's go even deeper. Opportunity selection. Not every opportunity should be accepted. In fact, one of the most powerful financial skills is knowing what to reject. Because every yes has a cost. Time, energy, focus. And saying yes to the wrong opportunity can delay better ones. But saying no to the wrong ones preserves value. Her selective approach suggests a strong level of discipline. And discipline is what protects long-term direction. Now, let's connect everything to one final concept: value maturity. At the beginning, an artist's value is based on potential, what they could become. Over time, that value matures. It becomes based on consistency, quality, impact. And when value matures, it stabilizes. It becomes less dependent on hype and more dependent on substance. This is where long-term financial strength is created, because mature value is harder to replace and harder to ignore. Now, looking at Angelina Jordan's path, it appears she is moving toward that stage. Not rushing it, not forcing it, but allowing it to develop naturally. And that approach may be the most important part of her entire strategy. Because in a world where everything is fast, she is building something steady. In a world where attention is temporary, she is building something lasting. And in a world where many chase visibility, she is building value. Now, let's step back one last time. Everything we have seen, every decision, every pattern, points to one conclusion. This is not just a music career. It is a financial system, a system built on control, scarcity, emotion, structure, patience. And systems are what create lasting results. Not moments, not trends, not short-term success, but consistent long-term growth. So when people look at Angelina Jordan and wonder why things seem slow, they may be missing the bigger picture. Because what looks slow on the surface may actually be strong underneath. And what looks quiet now may become powerful later. Because in finance, the most important growth is not always visible at the beginning. But when it fully develops, it becomes undeniable. And when that happens, it changes how everything is understood. Not just about the artist, but about the strategy behind the artist. And that is when people finally realize something important. That this was never about quick success. It was about building something that lasts. Something that grows. Something that continues. Long after the moment has passed. And that is what real financial success looks like. And as we reach the final stage of this journey, everything begins to connect in a way that is impossible to ignore. Because when you take every layer we have explored and place them side by side, a clear pattern emerges. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is not accidental success. This is structure. And structure is what creates outcomes that last. From the very beginning, the signals were there. A different kind of presence, a different kind of delivery, a different kind of pace. But what seemed like artistic choices are now revealing themselves as strategic advantages. Because every slow step reduced risk, every selective decision protected value, every quiet moment built anticipation. And anticipation is powerful, because when people wait for something, they value it more. Now, let's bring this into a final financial perspective. There are 3 stages of value in any career. The first stage is attention. This is where people discover you. It is driven by moments, by exposure, by visibility. Angelina Jordan achieved this early. That first performance created attention. It introduced her to the world. But attention alone is not enough, because attention can fade, which leads to the second stage. Retention. This is where people stay, where they return, where they remain connected. And this is where she became different, because people did not just watch her once. They came back. They followed her journey. They stayed emotionally connected, and that created stability. Now comes the third and most important stage: expansion of value. This is where everything multiplies, where attention and retention turn into something bigger. into influence, into financial strength, into long-term positioning. And this is the stage she is moving into. Not quickly, but steadily. And that steady movement is what makes it powerful. Because fast growth can break, but steady growth builds. Now, as we close this analysis, there is one final concept to understand. Invisible growth. Not all progress is visible. Not all value can be measured immediately. Some of the most important developments happen quietly, behind the scenes, without recognition. But they matter, because they create the foundation for everything that comes later. And that is exactly what is happening here. While the world looks for loud success, something quieter is taking place. A system is being built. A brand is being strengthened. An audience is being deepened. Assets are being formed. And all of this is happening at a pace that protects long-term value. Now imagine what happens when all of this reaches its full form. When the catalog is larger. When the audience is stronger. When the positioning is fully established. The result will not feel sudden, but it will feel solid. Because it will be built on years of structure, years of discipline, years of intentional decisions. And that is what separates temporary success from lasting impact. Because temporary success is seen quickly and forgotten quickly, but lasting impact grows slowly and remains. Now, if we step completely outside of music and look at this purely from a financial perspective, the conclusion becomes even clearer. Angelina Jordan is not operating like a typical artist. She's operating like a long-term asset, something that increases in value over time, something that becomes stronger as it develops, something that does not rely on constant visibility to remain relevant. And that is extremely rare, because most careers are built for the present, but very few are built for the future. Now, think about where this leads. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when the music has grown, when the audience has expanded, when the brand has matured, the value will not just be in what she is doing at that moment. It will be in everything she has built leading up to that moment. Every song, every performance, every decision, all of it will compound into something much larger. And that is the power of long-term thinking. Because when you build correctly, time becomes your advantage. Instead of working against you, it works for you. Now, let's bring everything to its final point. The question was never, how fast can she grow? The real question has always been, how strong can she become? And strength is not built in a rush. It is built through patience, consistency, discipline, clarity. And based on everything we have seen, those elements are already in place, which means the outcome is not uncertain. It is simply unfolding, step by step, layer by layer, moment by moment, until one day, what once looked quiet will be recognized as powerful. What once looked slow will be understood as strategic. And what once looked simple will be revealed as something far more complex. Because behind the voice, behind the performances, behind the moments people see, there is a system designed not just to succeed, but to last. And in the world of finance, that is the highest level of success. Not temporary gain, but lasting value. And that is what this entire journey has been building toward. Quietly, carefully, and with a level of intention that most people are only beginning to understand. Because in the end, the strongest moves are not always the loudest. They are the ones that are made with clarity and carried out with patience until the results speak for themselves. And when those results finally become visible, there will be no confusion, only recognition. Recognition that everything we have seen was leading to this. A career not built on speed, but built on value. A path not driven by noise, but guided by direction. And a future that is not uncertain, but steadily approaching something much greater. Something lasting, something meaningful, something that will continue long after the moment has passed. And also, if you enjoy this video, please subscribe and comment for more videos, and please share the video. Thanks for watching. See you in another next video. Peace out.